Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got pretty gosh darned important news regarding the Pokemon World Championships. And let's be clear, they're actually happening. I mean, as it stands at the moment, obviously things can change. But we've had a couple of years in a row with no World Championships. They're actually happening. They're actually happening in London. I am delighted, ladies and gentlemen. Things are wonderful. However, there are some things we need to know. And basically, there are a bunch of cards which have been banned for the World Championships. And I'm going to be honest with you, this all makes perfect sense. Here's what they've gone and said. Some cards will not be permitted in competition at the 2022 Pokémon TCG World Championships. Some cards in the Sword and Shield series were not distributed worldwide. In the spirit of a fair global event, the following cards will not be legal for play at the 2022 Pokémon TCG World Championships. Now, what is interesting here is that we'll go through all the cards one by one in a moment. What is interesting is that they have listed a bunch of English cards, which is what you would expect, because this is, of course, an announcement which is going out on the English website. So, of course, they're going to make that announcement. One would imagine that there would also be similar restrictions over in Japan. So, one card that I'm particularly fond of is Mischievous Pikachu. Mischievous Pikachu is a card that has a regulation mark and a set number. In this case, it's a promo number, but that doesn't matter. And because it's got a regulation mark and a proper number, it is a legal card. Mischievous Pichu is not on the list of cards which are not able to be played at the Pokemon TCG World Championships, but the reason for this seems pretty gosh darn simple. This is an English announcement dealing with English language cards. Because I hate to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a Japanese player, or the lovely Antoine Boulet, who totally counts as a Japanese player, you're not going to be able to use Japanese cards at Worlds anyway. You have to use your home language. So you know what? We're not going to worry too much about them, but suffice it to say, there are a bunch of them. Japan has had a bunch. There was that amazing Piplup, which I managed to get a copy of, which is amazing. And it doesn't matter if these cards are good or not. Well, how good the cards are is not terribly important. What's important is the fact that they cannot be played. So I'm expecting a similar announcement coming out of Japan. Because if we don't have a similar announcement coming out of Japan, then that means we can't use our weird promo cards. But Japan can use their weird promo cards. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that just doesn't seem fair. So which cards have actually gone and been made not legal for the Pokemon World Championships? Well, we can basically split them into three categories. Firstly, probably the most relevant of them, we've got Lance's Charizard V and Dark Sylveon V, the ones that came around in celebrations. And I've said for a long time that these cards present a problem. And the reason these cards present a problem is very, very simple. They never got released in Japan. Now, what is weird is that they were actually released in the Chinese language in Hong Kong and Taiwan. These cards were actually released, but they were never released in Japan, which I find very strange indeed. Regardless of the reasons for all of that, it doesn't really matter because they never got released in Japan. For whatever reason, they never got released. And I always said, I've said in several different videos, this was a bit of a problem, because firstly, they're proper cards with promo numbers and regulation marks, but secondly, these are potentially good. Free energy, 200 damage isn't amazing, but you can make it work to KO Pokemon V. And then Dark Sylveon V, you've got 2 energy, 30 damage plus confusion, or free energy, 100 damage, choose a random card from your opponent's hand, they shuffle it into their deck. My argument isn't as to whether these are particularly amazing or not. These cards aren't available in Japan. It is also worth pointing out that Charizard V Max can evolve from Charizard, and this is Lance's Charizard V. Different cards cannot VMAX this one. And similarly with Sylveon here, Sylveon VMAX evolves from Sylveon V, not Dark Sylveon V. We would need a Dark Sylveon VMAX, and that doesn't exist. And this is actually very, very relevant and important because both Sylveon VMAX and Charizard VMAX have seen some playing success in recent tournaments, so it is important to note that. So these cards were promos for us over in Celebrations. They had their own boxes. They were awesome. People tried scalping the Charizard boxes, but they were printed in huge numbers and it didn't really work. That amused me greatly. And these are cool, but they never made their way out in Japan, so they're not legal for tournament play. Similarly, these special delivery cards. Special delivery Pikachu and special delivery Bidoof. Remember, special delivery Charizard never actually got released. Maybe it will one day, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, special delivery Charizard never actually got a release. It's not a real card in that regard. So it doesn't count on this announcement because it's not a thing. I don't mean to be mean or rude. It doesn't count. It doesn't exist. Now, these were cards that were given away when you ordered on the Pokémon Center. There was special delivery Pikachu that was there to celebrate the fact that they were then shipping to Canada. And that all went a bit awkward because people were just ordering stuff to try and scalp the card and sell it on, and it was a little bit of a pain. So special delivery Bidoof, and I got a bunch of messages from people asking me if this was actually a real card. They thought it might have been a joke, but it's not a joke. And essentially what happened was that they sent out codes, Pokemon did, to people who were on their mailing list for the Pokemon Center. And you could then, use that code to go and get a special delivery Bidoof, try and make it fairer, and it worked. Now again, these aren't particularly stunning cards. Special delivery Pikachu lets you search for an item card, but there's other things we can do that with. And then special delivery Bidoof lets you search for an item card, and both of these have pretty terrible attacks. But again, it's not about them being too good or anything silly like that. It's all about the fact that they were not made available more widely. And we got to give a shout out to Pikachu, because there's actually 2 Pikachu cards that went and got banned, because the last category we can look at is the on-the-ball cards, including Pikachu. Now, I, for one, am very, very, very happy that Pikachu on the ball is not a good card that's legal for Worlds. If Pikachu on the ball had that combination of being a good card and legal for Worlds, it would be a nightmare. I'm sure some of you at this stage remember Tropical Beach. It was given out at 2 years of Worlds. And I'm delighted to say one of the 2 years was the 1 year I actually played at Worlds, which I'm very happy about. And it's like a legitimately amazing card. Once during your turn, you can draw into, you've got 7 cards in your hand, and then your turn ends. It's a legit good card. And it's all playing a whole bunch of archetypes. And in Europe, it wasn't so bad, because when you qualify for Worlds, you get one in every language, which is lovely. And you can play all the European languages, so your French, your German, your Italian, your Portuguese, your English. They're all legal for tournament play. Whereas over in the US, you can only use the English or the staff ones being English with just a stamp. And that got super awkward and really expensive. That's not the case here. Pikachu on the ball, we have actually heard, is going to be distributed through game stores towards the end of the year. So regular folks like myself are actually going to be able to get them, which makes me very happy. Up till now, Pikachu on the ball has actually only been available as a member of a futsal club. It's like football, but with a smaller ball and more skillful or something. Point is, it's only kids at futsal clubs and people who run futsal clubs that, instead of giving the promos to the kids, have been selling them on Facebook, that have actually been able to get hold of these cards. So Pikachu on the ball being banned is a good idea. I mean, again, free energy, 120, but nothing on a coin flip is nothing to write home about. We've then seen the other ones like Eevee on the ball that have been distributed in game stores. You went along, you spent 15 quid, jobs are good 'un. It is actually worth pointing out, it is the English Football Association which has been doing this promotion with Pokemon. So these aren't, UK promos, they are England promos. You ain't getting them in Scotland and Wales. So Eevee on the ball, 2 energy, 20 damage, or attach a basic energy from your hand. Pretty terrible, honestly. We saw Grookey on the ball. Defending Pokemon can't retreat, but it does no damage, or free energy 50. pretty terrible. We've seen Score Bunny on the ball, 20 damage. And now this is the one that I could see an argument for. 1 energy, flip till you get tails, 20 for each head. But you got to flip a lot of heads. And again, because it's Score Bunny on the ball, it cannot evolve because there's nothing that evolves from Score Bunny on the ball, just from Score Bunny. And then 30 damage, 10 to yourself for 2 energy. Bad. And then Sobble on the ball, flip a coin, if heads, prevent all effective attacks done during your next turn. No. I mean, we do live in a world where Inteleon's great at the moment, but firstly, this couldn't evolve anyway, and secondly, if this could evolve, people still wouldn't play it, because we've got the really good Sobble from Chilling Reign that lets you search out your other Sobble, and I'm sorry, but there's absolutely no way Sobble on the ball is beating out Sobble from Chilling Reign. It's just not happening. So, honestly, in terms of the list here, there's nothing particularly relevant. In terms of playability, couple you can make a fairly weak argument for, but nothing huge like that. But what is really important is that these weird promos aren't legal for Worlds, and this sets a pretty strong precedent. Again, we've not actually had, as far as I'm aware at least, we've not actually had an announcement regarding this. For Japan, we don't know what's going on over in Japan, but assume that cards like Mischievous Pichu and the Piplup and all of that, assume that they're not going to be legal. But moving forward, if we get the special delivery cards which are going to be US only, on the ball cards which have to be England only, they are literally crossovers with the English Football Association, we now know that they're not going to be legal for Worlds, and that is a very important precedent to set. Even if you look at this and go, come on, Wassy, none of those cards are going to be played anyway, that's not necessarily the point. The point is this sets a hyper-important precedent moving forward. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you agree with this. I want to know if any of these cards were cards that you could have seen making a splash at Worlds. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.